Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Front Row Access Podcast. I am your host, Steven Russo.
I'm Anthony Gonzalez.
Alrighty, guys, let's fucking get it. So, UFC 298 is going down this Saturday. Yes, I know I'm getting this out there mad fucking late. It's been a busy couple of weeks. I'm very sorry for the prolonged absence and the lack of content and even clips on the TikTok channel. You see, it's been crazy. You know, college is going crazy, work's going crazy, so it's tough, but we're here. I told you guys every pay-per-view this year. Our plan is to do a podcast for every single UFC pay-per-view this year.
Oh, at least.
At
and we're
least.
looking to make stuff to fill up the gaps in between, too.
Just have no idea what it's going to be. Maybe it's a news
Not
update.
yet.
Maybe it's just Steven and Anthony fantasy booking. Fuck it, that actually might be it, honestly. Yeah, we're just going to go over some dream matches that we want to see, or go over some UFC history, or just fucking go off on that, but I don't know.
We do still have that whole showing me some of the greatest matches from before I started watching, too.
Very true. We do have to do that. We can do, like, UFC flashbacks to, like, some of the best fights that have happened ever, and just recap you guys, send you down memory lane real quick, but, who knows? But, you know, before we get started, Pepsi, you know what to do. You gotta hit us up. I got 2 of your products with me today. I got a Crush Orange soda and I got a Mountain Dew. And we also got Mountain Dew. And we also got Mountain Dew Code Red as well. So, of course, hit us up. Of course, guys, the email address is frontrowaccess15@gmail.com. So go ahead and send us whatever you want there. Within reason, obviously. But, you know. Also, go and follow us on all the social medias. It is Front Row Access in some form, whether it's dashes, underscores, or dots. You'll find it, I promise.
Don't worry, you won't only hear crickets. We are working on it.
We are. It's tough, you know. But, you know, we're going to do that. But anyway, guys, we got something huge going down this Saturday. Dana White cooked again, obviously, because Dana's just been doing all the cooking lately, just like Cody Rhodes has been doing for the past 2 years. Yeah, fuck you, Rock. Fuck you, Roman. Anyway, had to get that in there. So yeah, Dana's been doing all the cooking, much like Cody Rhodes. So, got a whole fight card for you, UFC 298. Listen to this one, guys. In the main event, Alexander the Great Volkanovski defends his featherweight title against surging contender and undefeated contender Ilya El Matador Topuria. So, that's going to be a crazy fight. We're going to go over that in detail as the last fight, so you guys got to stick around to the very end to get the main event.
But I mean, it's worth it. We got a fucking scary Aussie versus a fucking scary
Spaniard. Like, we also got Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. That's a fun fight right there that I still don't think is happening.
I was going to say.
But, you know, if it does happen, that's a very fun fight. We have Jeff Neal versus the cuck Ian Gary. Love you, Ian Gary. I promise. There's no hate from me. I'm just the jokes.
You know why he turned off comments? You know that, right?
Yeah, he did. We got Merab Dvalishvili, Henry Cejudo going at it for the first time ever. I'm actually happy that Cejudo stuck around for a little while because he is a good fighter, guys. Had a close fight with Aljo. Now he gets to face Aljo's best friend in Merab Dvalishvili, who absolutely has cucked himself of a title shot this entire time since Aljo's his best friend, apparently, even though I don't think it's very reciprocated. That's me, though. And we also have Anthony Hernandez going up against Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov stepping in last minute for Ikram Aliskerov, who unfortunately did get injured. And that's the first fight we're going to go over today. So, Roman Kopylov versus Anthony Hernandez. I could be wrong. I actually probably am wrong. But I think Anthony Hernandez is a hometown boy. And he's fighting in his backyard of Anaheim, California. I'm going to check right now. So don't quote me on anything yet. If you do, that's okay. I guess I'll be alright with it. Where is he from? Oh my god, where are you from? Where are you from? Jesus Christ, on a motorbike. I can't find where you're from.
Ask Jeeves, he might know.
God, fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Forget I ever said anything about him being from the same city. We're just gonna go over it. We're just going to go into it. So Roman Kopylov is actually stepping in on last minute. He is replacing Ikram Aliskerov. So we replaced one Russian with another Russian. Great. Great. But anyway, guys, fucking Anthony Hernandez is coming up. is coming off of a win back in May of 2023. He got a KO off of elbows. So some pretty brutal stuff. And I think that was against Edmund Shabazian, another dangerous guy. And then Roman Kopylov has been on a 4-fight knockout streak. So, battle of strikers, basically, guys. And, there's really not much to say because I don't know too much about these guys. Besides their
I know
surging.
Kopylov scares the shit out of me.
Kopylov scares the shit out of me, too. That dude's scary as fuck. But, of course, guys, I don't really like it when people step in last minute. I mean, look at what happened to UFC 294.
The
Oh,
list goes on.
it does.
And though they put on good shows, like Volk in he could have done better, obviously. But who am I thinking of?
Kamaru Usman.
Yes,
Yeah.
Usman. I honestly think that could have gone either way. Usman was very good there.
Oh, he was perfect in that fight. If that fight had 5 rounds, Hamzat Chimaev would have a 1 next to his fucking record right now.
So it's not that we don't like or say, that stepping in short notice is like a guaranteed loss. It's just really hard.
Well, if you're going up against a guy that had a full fight camp against somebody that just said, fuck it, just came in off the couch, started cutting weight. It's not very healthy. But, both guys extremely dangerous. Roman Kopylov, man, he scares the fucking shit out of me.
Yep, I've always been impressed by the fights I've seen of him.
And, obviously, we both know him. I know him more than fucking Hernandez here, and I'm usually the one that follows the Americans more than anything else.
Just goes to show how big a splash and what big a name they're making.
Exactly. So, guys, I mean, I think this fight's going to play out on the feet. It's going to go crazy. I don't see it going to decision in the slightest. I think both of these guys, since it's their first main card fight for both of them on a pay-per-view, and they're getting pay-per-view points for this shit, they're probably going to go in there and try to get a bonus on top of their pay-per-view points. So, I think there's going to be a knockout finish at some point. I don't see this fight going to the ground. If it does, I'd be actually very surprised if that happened. I think you're going to see a kickboxing match in the octagon. And I got to say, even though Kopylov is the underdog going into this, guys, I can't doubt him. He's my pick to win this fight. I think he's gonna win it by a knockout, probably in the first or second round.
I'm gonna say I'm in complete agreement there because even though he's stepping in short notice, he's impressed me more in his fights that I've seen from Anthony Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
That last name sometimes throw me off. And he's like, it's not like he's fresh off a match or anything. He's
No.
had time to recover. He's obviously in the gym. They stay in shape. He just had to make weight for it. So I don't see it as a disadvantage to him that he's stepping in short notice. And I think he'll have it. I think I'm going to say a knockout second round.
Second round? I got first or second round. I think this finish is coming early, and y'all better not fucking blink while you're watching this fight. I think it's going to be pretty good. So, that's that one. We both got Kopylov for that, so we, of course, we're going to record the clips again during the pay-per-views after every single fight.
Hell yeah.
And those actually did really well on the TikTok channel. Y'all liked them a lot, so we're definitely going to continue doing that. And if you want us to do it for the fight nights, please let us know, or we'll just make the executive decision ourselves,
we're watching all the UFC. Any UFC we can get our hands on, we're watching.
Yeah, exactly. Every Saturday, even if it's totally mid-fight cards that have happened the past 2 times around. What was it? It was Dolidze and fucking Hermanson last. It was wait, no. It was Hermanson and somebody else last week. See what I mean, guys?
Even when I'm not invited to the 4 a.m. ones, I still get the highlights eventually.
Hermanson versus Piper. That's who it was. And Dolidze versus Imavov, to be honest. I mean, both of those fight nights, those main events were not very exciting as far as name value is concerned. But I will say, even though they weren't name value, they still were good fights.
And some of the fight nights, like the one from before, actually compete really well with the pay-per-views. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, sometimes you never know. Never sleep on the fight nights, and don't sleep on the prelims either. Sometimes those end up being better than the main card. I.e. UFC 296 with Covington and Edwards.
Yeah, but I mean, also, when you're looking at these pay-per-views before the prelims and whatnot, you're more expecting and anticipating what the main event characters are going to do. You're more familiar with them because they have a bigger name. They have more weight in the water. So the thing is getting surprised in prelims is fucking awesome.
Yeah, because you never know. And then plus, if you really like a guy and how he fought, you just remember his name, write it down. Unlike, wait, who's that other guy that might be contending for the title
The
soon?
fuck is that guy's
Fuck,
name?
he really likes the song "Bump and Grind" by R. Kelly.
He does.
Oh, what's his
What the
name?
fuck is his name?
What's his name? It's something with a Bilal Muhammad. Is it?
Doesn't he go? Doesn't he go balls out?
Yeah, he goes balls out
Balls out
Muhammad.
Muhammad.
That's
the
it.
guy.
That's the guy. That's the guy. Sorry, I forgot his name. Anyway, we're never gonna sleep on a chance to give some hate towards Bilal Muhammad.
He won't hear it. He'll just hear bump and grind in his head.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Dude does not know what striking is. Anyway, but that's our prediction. Kopylov, Hernandez. I got Kopylov early finish. You got round 2 knockout.
Yep.
So Kopylov. So unanimously, we are
scary.
agreeing here. Yeah.
Scares the shit out of me.
Now you see, I got the fight orders mixed up on my fucking notes again, guys. I put this fight's actually supposed to be right before the co-main event, and I put it right after the opening fight. Fuck. So we're just gonna go over the next fight in line as far as the card is concerned, just because I want to keep it in sequential order.
Oh, and if y'all were wondering, yeah, he got 3 pages of note on this one too.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's a fuck ton. All right. Next up, after the Kopylov and Hernandez fight, we have Merab, the Machine Dvalishvili versus Henry Triple C Cejudo. He really needs to take a dump.
Right? He is just so
Like his
constipated.
eyes. Whenever I look at him, I'm like, this poor man needs some fucking Miralax, because the way he's looking at that camera, he's looking at it. He's like, I'm like, dude, take a shit. Take a shit. It'll help you make weight. Definitely. You don't have to hold it in. I ain't promise. So, Henry Cejudo, you guys know him. Y'all know. Y'all know him. Y'all love him.
If you're not familiar with him, he's the guy who looks constipated all the time.
Yes.
That guy.
All right. He's an Olympic gold medalist in freestyle wrestling, so very impressive there. He's also one of the very small amount of people that have been simultaneous double champion before. He had both the flyweight and the bantamweight belts, and did have a little bit of a retirement in 2020, and just recently came back in May of 2023 to challenge Aljamain Sterling for the belt that he never lost. And it was a good fight. It was razor close down to the very, very end, but ultimately there was a split decision victory awarded to Aljamain Sterling, and he retained shortly before having to go against Sugar Show and getting knocked out in round 2 by Sugar Sean O'Malley.
And were you there for that one?
I was, in fact, there for that one. That shit was fucking crazy, man. That whole fucking arena, I'm gonna keep saying it, went nuts when he won that belt, dude. That crowd was like 99% Sugar and like maybe 1% Aljo, because that one dude was hating in the corner, you know. But that was incredible. Boston, Massachusetts on top for that entire fucking event. Crowd was crazy.
I will say that's a Cejudo Sterling match. What I think also played a factor in that is you got to beat the champ, and Cejudo fought tooth and nail, but because it couldn't decisively be called a Cejudo's match, I think Sterling kept it.
Yep.
I think that's what that boiled
That's
down
exactly
to.
it. It just didn't seem like he wanted it as much as Aljo did. So, unfortunately, he did come up short. He was supposed to fight in August on the Sean O'Malley card, but unfortunately, I think he injured his elbow again. Don't fucking quote me on that one. But I know he got injured, and it kept him sidelined until now. So he's almost been a year away from the octagon, but dude's legit. He's going to back it up. He's a good fighter, even though he's fucking cringe. I hate the guy so damn much. He's super duper cringe.
It's alright. They gotta know they have haters too.
Yeah. So, but I mean, he's a good fighter. I will definitely, I will definitely admit that. Now, I gotta say though, seeming as Merab, I think is number 1 or 2, probably number 2. And Henry Cejudo was the last guy to challenge for the title before the title were to switch hands. Do you think that the winner of this gets the next shot at the belt? It seems legit enough.
So, I would say for sure for the division. How's that pronounced?
Dvalishvili.
Dvalishvili would definitely get title contention for this. Cejudo, because it be loss win, I think he might have to do another match before getting that title shot.
And I mean, Merab wouldn't fight Aljamain Sterling for the title because, of course, he and Sterling trained together. They're apparently best friends, even though I did not see Aljo, you
They
know,
boys.
I did not see Aljo as reciprocal as Marab was. So, I mean, if Marab wins this fight, he'll definitely get the winner of the upcoming O'Malley versus Cheeto Vera fight, which I don't understand why this fight is happening outside of money. But then again, that's the
Come on.
UFC. It's money.
You see why it's happening, right? Cheeto Vera's the only one to have
Beating Sean O'Malley.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's gotta honestly
Mhm.
just to see his revenge. I'd say they would try feeding him to Sugar Show.
It just makes no sense after this dude got fucking 10-7 by Corey Sandhagen.
Other than that bit,
But,
I mean, if it wasn't as reciprocal on the champ side, I don't see why they would make this. But he's Sugar Show. He's gonna always have that chip on his shoulder, just like
he
he
was the
won
one
me.
guy that beat me.
Exactly.
I have to beat him. I'm Batman. Anyway, so Sean O'Malley definitely, I think, was pushing for that fight more, and whatever Sean O'Malley asks for, he gets
Damn straight.
because he's just ultimate Dana White privilege. He's
He is Mini McGregor.
he's Mini McGregor in the 135 division, so of course, naturally, whatever Suga says, he gets.
But also, this is interesting in the aspect of it's usually the contenders going after the champ. This is
Yeah,
the champ
the champ,
avenging the fucking
the champ
loss on his name.
never challenges somebody. Pardon me, guys. But anyway, I want to talk about Marab the Machine Dvalishvili, though. I have never seen a guy have so much goddamn cardio in his entire life than this motherfucker right here. This guy is always, and I mean always, shooting for takedowns. Even if he fails, he keeps going. And the fact that you have the cardio to keep that up is fucking insane, because anybody that's had any offensive wrestling ever knows that shooting in for a takedown multiple times is fucking hard. So the fact that he has the gas tank to just keep doing it and he keeps going is crazy to me. He really is. He lives up to his nickname. He really is a machine. And in his last time he fought, it was back in July or June of 2023, and he went against Peter Yan, former champion, and fucking ragdolled him. Took Peter Yan and said, "You go here." Peter Yan said, "Nah, I'm gonna get up." And then Dvalishvili's like, "Nah, you go here. You go here." Mat return, takedown, 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 mat return every single time. The entire fight. So he obviously got the unanimous decision victory after absolutely fucking ragdolling the former champion of that division. So, the former champion before Aljamain Sterling, should I say. After Aljamain Sterling put on a fucking Oscar-winning performance to get his bantamweight title shot, his bantamweight title belt in just totally sold the fuck out of that illegal knee. So basically, if y'all don't know the story by now, it did happen a little while ago, so I'm going to go over the story again. So, Peter Yan was the champion at the time. He had won the vacant title after fucking what's-his-face left the division, Henry Cejudo. So, when Cejudo left the division titles vacant, Peter Yan won the vacant belt. Do I know exactly who he beat to get it? I don't know. I can't remember. But, I want to say it was Jose Aldo, but I could be completely wrong. Because Jose Aldo did have a stint at bantamweight for a bit at the end of his career, and he was doing pretty good down there. So I'm gonna say I think it might have been him, but it could have been somebody else. But anyway, Peter Yan was going into his first title defense against Aljamain Sterling after Aljamain Sterling choked out Corey Sandhagen. And well, Peter Yan was winning that fight, absolutely beating Aljamain Sterling's ass. And then Aljamain Sterling was down. He had a knee on the ground, hand on the ground. He's a grounded opponent, and Peter Yan let the knee go. Which, for those of y'all that don't know, a knee to a downed opponent like that, when their knee or part of their body at all is on the ground, is an illegal move.
Illegal.
So, when Peter Yan threw the illegal knee, Aljamain Sterling sold the fuck out that shit. You'd think that motherfucker was in WWE the way he sold that shit. And then, ultimately won the title off of a DQ, which is a part of the reason why he's so damn hated. But that's the story there. So, and then, and this guy was dangerous. Peter Yan was dangerous, but ever since he took that L to Sean O'Malley, which decisively it could have gone to him pretty easily in
Yeah,
that
I was
fight against O'Malley.
not a fan of
But shit, man, O'Malley came up on top, and ever since that fight, Peter Yan's just been, well, ever since that knee, should I say, Peter Yan's just been on a down spiral. Like he tried to get the title, he won against Corey Sandhagen in an interim title fight because Aljo was injured, and then he would lose his chance to regain the title. Then he'd lose to Sean O'Malley. Then he'd lose to Marab. So guys had a rough couple of years, and to get ragdolled like that does not make a very good case for you as far as your title aspirations are in the future after a performance like that. So,
it. Remember, if you're ever in the room with the guy, Petrolian.
oh yeah, if you're ever in a room with him, he's Piotr Jan. But so that's that story there. So anyway, that's both of these guys on their last time out. Of course, we got Marab coming off of a fucking win over Peter Yan, former champion, and you got Cejudo coming off of a close decision loss to Aljamain Sterling. So I think there's title applications to this, especially for implications, not applications, implications for this, especially for Marab if he wins this. And guys, it's wrestler versus wrestler. It's just going to ultimately either get played out in the pocket. They're either going to stand and bang with each other, or Marab's just going to keep doing what Marab does best, shoot in. Henry Cejudo is going to try to shoot in. Just basically a battle for mat control. But ultimately, guys, Marab is too much of a machine for an aging Henry Cejudo. This is a young, hungry 31-year-old man against a former champion and 36 years old in Henry Cejudo. So I think Marab's going to be a little bit too much. I think he's going to swarm Cejudo to the point that Cejudo's not used to it, and he's not going to be able to keep up. So ultimately, guys, I got Marab winning by a decision here. I think that's how he's going to get it done. Anthony, what say you?
Uh, I'm gonna go the opposite way here and say that Henry is gonna prove that he's Henry Cejudo, former simultaneous double champ and Olympic medal winner, and I think that he's gonna have corrected what what made him lose that last match, and I say he's gonna get this done, and I will say unanimous decision for
Yeah,
him.
so both by decision. Yeah, I think that's how it's going to end up going. I think this fight goes the distance. If there's going to be a finish, that'd be kind of crazy. But I don't really see this one going to getting a finish. Just against two guys that usually are very good at controlling people. Based off of that, I think it's going to be winning clinch positions, mat control time, and possible ground and pound volume. But I don't think it's going to be a boring snooze fest. If it is, we will be playing bump and grind the entire time while that fight happens. If, one guy takes the other guy down, just lays on him the whole time. So, guys, I don't think it's going to be a boring fight. It is 135 after all. It's an exciting division, exciting fighters. It's an exciting match. So, we'll see how pressure wrestling goes against Olympic wrestling. So, that's ultimately I got Marab by a decision. Anthony's got Cejudo for a decision, and that's okay. We'll see who wins. Of course, we're not betting anything, so no harm, no foul here.
Unless it's more Mountain Dew.
That's true. That's true. But we got another one on here, guys. So speaking of two exciting fighters and an exciting fight, next one in line is Jeff Neal versus Ian Gary for I think it's a 3-rounder welterweight division fight. So, guys, I don't really think I need to give introduction to either of these guys, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Ian, the future Gary, is one of the only undefeated prospects that still remain in the UFC. I think he's 13-0 now, 12-0, something like that. And he's looked good in every single one of his fights. He faced a little adversity in one of it in his second fight in the UFC. He got wobbled a little bit, but proved that he could withstand the pressure, weather the storm, and ultimately end up knocking the guy out in the end. So He is Ian Gary, Ian the future Gary, Irishman. Definitely loves Conor McGregor. You see shards of him within him all the time. There's Isaac there. He got in the frame real quick. It's okay.
So long as it wasn't a stink bug.
As long as it wasn't a stink bug.
Not this time.
No stink bug this time? Alright, I got you. So, yep. Ian Gary's looked good in all of his fights. Threw everything but the kitchen sink at Neil Magny when he fought back in August. I was there for that, and I watched it happen. He did, in fact, throw everything but the kitchen sink at Neil Magny, and won by a decision. But and every single, he's looked great. He's a very exciting guy. He's a very precise striker. Even though but guys, you guys know the heat that he's been getting lately because of Mr. Sean Strickland, former middleweight champion.
Sean causing heat?
No. Why would he do that?
The trash talking motorcyclist.
The trash talking motorcyclist. Nah. Real life GTA character known as Sean Strickland.
The guy who literally took a gun out when he saw people were messing with his vehicle.
Yup. We love Sean Strickland. But man, guys, y'all know the heat that he's been getting lately. Sean Strickland mentioned his wife and his kid and called Ian Gary a cuck because apparently Ian Gary was living with his wife's boyfriend or some bullshit like that. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not Ian Gary. I'm not here to speak for that. But of course, Sean Strickland had to open his mouth and he said so. And now, unfortunately, Mr. Ian Gary has been getting absolutely flamed to the point that he turned off comments on his fucking Instagram because of how much hate he was getting. And at the press conference, because Sean Strickland's such a popular guy, he got booed to hell and back because he defended himself. I'm like, wow, y'all are fucking ruthless.
Hey, blood sports all over the place.
But blood sport, it's all over the place, man. I'm like, Ian Gary makes a case for himself and talks back to one of the most popular guys, and ultimately the entire fan base says, fuck you to him. I got a feel for Ian Gary, though. I'm a Sean Strickland guy, don't get me wrong. But, like, I got a feel for Ian Gary here. Dude defended himself and is getting booed for it. I'm like, ugh, damn. Of course, I don't know his living scenario. I don't know what's going on. But Sean's got this cult following, and the cult will follow wherever he goes. So that's why they've been giving him absolute heat lately. Now, enough about... It makes you think, though, if that actually ends up affecting him in this fight to the point that he won't be able to compete as well as he has in the past. Because this fight was supposed to happen in August when he fought Neil Magny. Neil Magny stepped in 2 weeks notice, I think. Or 2.5 week notice, something like that. Jeff Neal got injured. But Jeff Neal, guys, this guy's game is hell. He's very good. He's in the top 10 for a reason. He had arguably one of the fights of the year, 2023, against Shavkat Rakhmonov. And unfortunately, even though he showed a lot of heart, a lot of toughness, and definitely showed that Shavkat was human.
Scary Russian.
More like scary Uzbekistani is scary Uzbekistani. But hey, and ultimately won the fight against Jeff Neal via standing rear naked choke. And but it was a good fight. Jeff Neal's a great fighter. This is a great match. Both guys like to stand and bang. They're not afraid to hang in the pocket, trade combinations. But guys, I got Ian Gary. Honestly, I think Ian Gary is going to be fighting with so much on his fucking shoulder that he's gonna want to prove to himself and just want to prove that he's still this amazing fighter because he is a good fighter. I love Ian Gary, but and I mean, y'all can hate me in the comments for that, but I like Ian Gary. I think he's pretty cool. He's fun to watch. But I think he's gonna want to go out there with something to prove, and ultimately, I think he gets it done. Probably. Don't be surprised if this is an early finish from Ian Gary. I'm gonna call a round 1 KO for him.
All I'm picturing is a scary standing just. That is all I'm picturing now. That is a scary thought.
It's a scary thought to have in mind. I mean, If you look at the photo, it pretty much looked just like that. So, I mean, scary Uzbekistani choking out the American.
Just standing behind, just.
That's exactly what happened, too. But anyway, what say you, Anthony?
I got Ian Gary for this,
You got Ian Gary.
and I think that he's if if I was in this situation, stage lights and all that, I would be using that as fuel to make sure I go in there and prove myself, have people stop talking shit and whatnot. But I'm not gonna say he's gonna get it early because I'm not counting Neil out.
Jeff Neal out, yeah.
But I will say that Ian Gary gets this done.
You say a late finish?
Yeah, late finish.
Late finish, yeah. TKO or KO? Is he gonna flatline this man, or is the ref gonna pull him off?
I'm gonna say TKO.
I'm gonna say ref's gonna pull him off.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. That's the final good old predictions. We're both predicting a finish from Ian Gary in the form of a knockout. I'm calling it mad early. I'm saying round 1. He's saying round 3.
Yeah.
So we'll go from there. We'll see what happens on fight night, and if our guy ends up winning, because he might not. Now, next up, guys, is a fight that I don't think is happening. I really don't think this fight is gonna fucking happen. I'm gonna be completely and totally honest with you.
He made weight.
I don't care that he made weight. Stephen Thompson made weight and then couldn't make his fight at UFC 291 because other dude missed weight by half a pound. I don't believe this fight happens. I'm gonna be honest, guys. So what I'm talking about is, of course, our co-main event. I don't think it's a 5-rounder, unfortunately. I would love to see these guys go at it for 5 rounds, but
That's if you see him in the ring.
yeah, that's true. That's if this fight actually happens. If this fight happens, it's gonna be 3 rounds. I don't think it's 5 rounds, but I'm talking, of course, about Paulo El Borichua, or the Eraser. Costa.
Erases his presence.
I mean, pretty much. This dude's so inconsistent with showing up for fights. Hence, one of the reasons why I still don't think this fight is happening, despite him making weight this morning. And also, he is going up against Robert the Reaper Whitaker, or Rob Whitaker, Bobby Knuckles, whoever you want to call him, former middleweight champion. Absolutely elite guy, all round good fighter. Another Thunder from down under, and along with his buddy Volkanovski in the main event. So, anyway, middleweight title implications if this fight happens?
I would say for Whitaker.
For Whitaker. Maybe not for Costa. For Whitaker. Yes. But then again, you got to think of who's at the top right now. It's Dricus du Plessis, obviously. Just beat Sean Strickland, a razor close fight, UFC 297. Great fight. Go back and watch it if you haven't already. And he knocked out Robert Whitaker to get that fight. So, I mean, is it really going to be for Robert Whitaker, or would this more be for Paulo Costa?
Well, the thing is, with Whitaker being a former champ, I say he does get that championship match if he wins this and puts it away looking good.
Even in a rematch off of a recent loss?
Oh, hell
yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah, I think they'd want to see that. Because with the new champ there, it adds more fuel to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they'll want to play with that.
Yeah, because obviously middleweight's before we go further in this fight, middleweight's a fucking mess, guys. To think that this division that we were pretty solidly knowing what the status quo was for a little bit has completely gone on its head. I don't even want to say 180. This shit like a 720. And we had all right, guys. So let me talk about this. Israel Adesanya. All right. Of course, we're gonna mention Israel at least once on every single one of these podcasts, it seems. Or McGregor.
You need a style bender poster back there.
I really do. I think that'd be a good addition. What do you guys think? Like right over here underneath my light switch over there.
All right.
Put a little style bender poster there. I think that'd be kind of cool, honestly. But anyway, Israel Adesanya. Y'all know him. Just made a splash onto the scene 2018. Knocking out people left and right, undefeated. Got to an interim title fight against Kelvin Gastelum. Went tooth and nail with him. Beat him. Interim champion. Goes up against Robert Whitaker. KOs this motherfucker. And then the rest was history. The stylebender era began. And he remained champion and at the top of that division until an old foe rolled around again. from kickboxing, and Alex Pereira. Obviously, we all know him, current light heavyweight champion. Good old fucking arrows. But an old foe comes around. He's beating this old foe, and then the old foe turns it up in round 5, takes away his dominant title reign. 2019 to 2022. That's a long fucking time to be champion. All right, that's what 4 years?
19, 20, 21, 20. Yeah,
Yeah,
4.
that's 4 years. That's 4 years as champion, and he looking dominant in every single one of his fights, Mr. Israel Adesanya. By the way, he'd go up against these elite guys, Robert Whitaker being one of them in a rematch, and diffs him, just absolutely outclasses him. People just get snake charmed by the guy. They just watch him, and then he just does what he does, and then he retains his title. Y'all hating on the Stylebender era for real, but this motherfucker was main event in pay-per-views left and fucking right. An absolute reliable worker, giving you title defenses, giving you active champion status, which y'all love to complain about. It doesn't matter if it's UFC or WWE. I'm one of them. Don't worry. Whether it's UFC or WWE, y'all was like, we want an active champion. You had one with Israel Adesanya. He lost, and y'all gave him so much hate for what? So much hate for what? Jesus Christ. Oh, because he's boring? What? He had one boring fight against Yoel Romero. Sure. Here's the thing, though. You have to go and beat the champion. The champion just has to stay there and do his thing for a little bit. Dance around. Give a couple leg kicks. Defend his title. Fight cautiously. You have to go after him. In the same way Alex Pereira did in the 5th round of that fight. Went after him. Won the title. But of course, Israel Adesanya wasn't going away so easily after that. Gets his rematch with him. His last shot. Finally beats his boogeyman. Knocks him flat on his back, round 2, after losing round 1 convincingly. Fucking mowing those arrows into the motherfucker. 1, 2, 3 to symbolize all 3 times this fucker beat him. And, regained his title. Guy was supposed to fight Dracus du Plessis. Stars were aligned. Dracus knocked out Robert Whitaker. So, naturally, since Robert Whitaker was in a Max Holloway scenario where he beats everybody but the fucking champion, permanent number 1 contender all throughout the Stylebender era, just couldn't beat Israel. And just like Max, fights every single featherweight. Don't matter how much steam's behind him, how much hype they got, how many finishes, how long their win streak is. You run into Max Holloway, he's like, oh, you want to get to that guy? Oh, you gotta go through me, motherfucker. And then he'll just diff all of these featherweight contenders to lose to Volk. And that was just the same scenario Robert Whitaker was in. The same scenario Dustin Poirier's in. And, well, not really now. But, Dustin Poirier was in that same position. Beats everybody but the champion. And stuck at number 1 contender. This dude dips everybody. And then the guy that is the gatekeeper for Israel Adesanya finally got beat. He got cracked by Dracus. And then Israel was the standing champion at the time. This fight was supposed to happen, then Dracus pulls out. He got some kind of foot injury, I'm pretty sure. Ankle, foot, something. And then Sean Strickland was the next guy in line. Sure, he was number 6, but guess what? Israel beat 1 through 5. Except Dracus, obviously. Never fought Dracus. But he beat everybody else. Jared Cannonier, got him. Marvin Vettori, beat him twice. Robert Whitaker, beat him twice. Dude,
ate them up.
Running circles around these fucking middleweights.
But what happened is that with that Stylebender era going on so long and whatnot, when Pereira showed up, I think he cracked that Stylebender armor. He got that title.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Adesanya used full throttle and all, if not most of his gas to get his victory from him. And I think that's what happened here, and that's why we had the reign finally ended.
Yep.
Because he was just out of gas, man.
He was out of gas. I mean, he spent fucking Alex Pereira comes in from kickboxing within a year of being in the UFC, is fighting for the middleweight championship.
Oh, yeah, champ.
And then beats the guy, and now fucking Israel's like, oh, this motherfucker beat me 3 times. This is my last shot. I gotta beat him here. I don't beat him here, bro. I'm never getting him again. Type deal. So he spends all his energy, like I said. All his bullets, all his ammunition was spent on trying to beat Alex Pereira, and he does it.
Gets
Finally
his
does it.
title back.
Gets his title back. And then he ran out of bullets. Goes up against Sean Strickland. And his backyard is Sydney, Australia. Basically, his backyard. He lives in New Zealand.
That's where he fights out of, right?
Yeah. But, it's like fucking. Goes in there. Killed by Sean Strickland. Absolutely iced in probably one of the biggest upsets that you will ever see. Sean Strickland, the plus 600 underdog, officially ends the Stylebender era. And then the division moved on after Israel Adesanya lost because he got so beat by Sean Strickland. Like I said, like Anthony said, he ran out of gas. Like I said, he ran out of bullets.
You watch
Like,
Adesanya's fight up until that point, and then you see that Strickland fight, and you're like, this ain't the same guy, is it?
no. And it's sad when you see it like that. And then the division, for the first time in 6 years, had a middleweight title fight that didn't include the name Israel Adesanya. And the division moved on. It was Dracus du Plessis who earned that number one contendership by knocking out permanent number one contender Robert Whittaker, and gets his title. And then they have a crazy close fight. Strickland and du Plessis, they go at each other. You could have scored it either way. That at the end of that fight, I did not know what was going on. You could have flipped a coin. I'd be like, all right, heads is Strickland, tails is Dracus du Plessis, and it landed on tails. Dracus du Plessis won. It was a great fight. It's super exciting, start to finish. But now Dracus wins. Now we have this fight with the guy that hasn't fought since August of 2022 in Paulo Costa, and the dude that just got knocked out by the former champion, by the current champion in Robert Whittaker. So like putting title implications on this is a little bit hard. You know, I think what the people want right now is a Strickland rematch because that fight was so damn close. But at the same time, even though he's been away, and to be honest, I like the fact that he's away. Israel Adesanya. He's always in the background here. He's like fucking Conor McGregor. Can go out for any amount of time and then say, I think I want to come back and get a top 5 fight. I want to come back. I want to get a title fight. Or he's like The Rock when you're just the fucking Rock and just decides to waltz into a title shot, an almost title shot, when you had no fucking narrative sense. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. I'm getting too animated here. But we want Cody. I'll just leave it at that.
I say how this how this title ship is gonna go is I do think that Whittaker should get a chance at the championship if he
I
wins.
think so too.
Costa, with his hit or miss personality and his I'm there or I'm not, even if I make weight.
Yep, I still don't think this fight's happening.
He still needs to prove some more. I would like to see Adesanya come back and maybe go after Strickland.
Go after Strickland again?
Yeah, because they're both former champions.
Yeah.
And technically, Stylebender hasn't had his rematch after losing his title to Strickland. So I could see him popping in. I think he wants to stay away from UFC for now, though. But yeah. I wouldn't be upset if he did decide to show up.
He's always in the background. He's lurking around, slithering around like a little snake. Slithering around on his little belly. Anyway, but nah. So both of these guys are in weird scenarios. I would love to see Robert Whittaker versus Dracus du Plessis too. I think that's a great fight to watch because, I mean, to be honest, guys, if you watch Dracus du Plessis versus Robert Whittaker 1, Robert Whittaker didn't look like Robert Whittaker. I'm just gonna say it. Kind of like Israel Adesanya didn't look like Israel Adesanya against Sean Strickland. I mean, he still got beat. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take anything away from neither Sean Strickland nor Dracus du Plessis for what they did. But, like, at the same time, I feel like Robert Whittaker beats Dracus 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Just that happened to be that one time out of 10 that Dracus would win against Robert Whittaker.
Though du Plessis is very good, so he has a lot of
he
has a lot that he can pull from.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if anything, it's gonna be more like you said, like for Robert Whittaker, as far as title implications are concerned.
Just on the pure rematch, and he was the number 1 guy for so long. He is that good, and he's proven it.
Time and time again.
I think he deserves another shot at the title.
Yeah, And then you have
If
Jared
he wins
Cannonier.
convincingly, if it's like tooth or nail, maybe have him try a different fight beforehand.
Yeah, but then you also got to think of what the fuck's going on with Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier. Like, what the fuck are they doing, bro? They're just kind of chilling. Like, I don't know what the fuck Marvin
They're like,
Vettori's
we
up
good
to.
here, we good here.
I'm like, y'all are top 5 middleweights. Like, you should be making your cases right now to try to fight Strickland or try to fight Robert Whitaker, for that matter. Obviously, you can't fight Whitaker now. Or, somebody else in that division. But,
Maybe they're scared, in which case someone from the top 10 has to call them out.
yeah, so any top 10 middleweight that's competing anytime soon, please call out either Jared Cannonier or Marvin Vettori. I haven't seen them in a little bit. I want to see what happens.
Please, we think they're getting rusty.
They are getting rusty.
You got your shot right now.
And I absolutely hate Marvin Vettori. So I mean, despite him being an Italian like myself and Anthony, I fucking hate the guy. Who to hate on more than my own kind?
Do
So
you literally want Strickland to go in there and flatline him and get his kill?
I would love. I would. I wouldn't say no. I would not say no.
Strickland still wants that kill. He may have been a champion, but he wants the kill.
Mm-hmm. I know he was like fucking sweating balls when Bryce Mitchell nearly died. Like,
Dude was gonna come down with an EMT defibrillator to get him back alive because he's got dibs on first kill in the octagon.
for context, Sean Strickland is on record saying he wants to have the first confirmed kill in the UFC octagon, and we came pretty damn close to getting the first kill in the UFC octagon back in December. Josh Emmett, this big, powerful 145 pounder, knocked the shit out of Bryce Mitchell, a contender that was on the rise. And dude got hit so hard he started seizing. So take it that as you will. Anyway, that doesn't have any context as to what that is.
I'm just picturing like WWE Strickland's music style playing. He's running down with the nurse outfit, the fucking
nurse
defibrillator to get Bryce back up.
No, I want that kill. But yeah, so anybody that's top 10 middleweight, yeah, please call out Jared Cannonier, Marvin Vettori. I haven't seen him in a bit. I want to see them fight.
Shit. Come on,
They ain't
take
doing
that position
shit.
from him.
Like, I don't even think, did Cannonier even fight last year? I know he fought Strickland in December.
I thought he had.
Did he? I don't even fucking remember, man. Oh, geez, hang on. I gotta see what the fuck Jared Cannonier's up to. Hold on.
What the fuck they've been up to?
Hang on, let me see what the fuck both of these guys have been up to.
It's gonna be like injured.
Imagine, that would fucking suck. Alright, Jared Cannonier. I got his profile on ESPN pulled up right now. Hold on. Okay, yes, he did. He did fight. It was in June against Marvin Vettori, and he beat Marvin Vettori. Okay, that answered both of my questions. I totally forgot that fight even happened, guys. On God. So,
just imagine Vittori doesn't exist.
So that okay, that answers my question. Okay, thank God. So that's what they're up to. They haven't fought since they fought each other.
Yeah, that's over half a year. Come on, guys.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. Let's go, bro. Come on. Step back in there.
There's actual weight being moved in your division.
Like,
make some splashes. Make some noise.
Exactly. Like, you're letting Sean Strickland, Dracus Duplessis take the spotlight. Honestly, it's just those two you're letting take the spotlight. Guys, you've been a mainstay in the division for a while. You guys were just victims of the Stylebender era. You can make your case to get back there now.
Don't let them dictate the flow of how the division's going. Take your shots.
Like, they're fucking listening to us, though.
Hey, they might. They might.
Marvin Vettori cursing at me.
Who is viewing us right now will get in touch with them and say, like, yo, what the fuck are you guys up to?
For real.
Hey, we don't know.
All right, so we've buttered up Robert Whitaker a lot. We haven't really talked a whole lot about Paulo Costa. This guy...
Well, that's because he doesn't show.
Yeah, he never fucking shows up. First of all, guys, I want to tell you this one right now. Paulo Costa is a giant meme. We all know the secret juice, man. His whole thing is it's secret juice, right? So, like, what happened was, like, people were accusing him of doing roids. So he showed up to a press conference with a jug filled up a something substance, a something beverage, and he just labeled the front of it secret juice. So we've all just been calling him the secret juice man ever since he showed up to that press conference with this gallon of secret juice. So, Paulo Costa, guys. Probably the best inconsistent fighter ever. This guy is fucking good. He's big, he looks good, and he's in great shape. You look at the man's physique, easily top 5, top 3 fucking physiques in the fucking UFC right now. Man's on point.
He's on that secret juice.
He's on that secret juice. But here's the thing. Dude is so fucking inconsistent. He has fought twice in 3 years. Excuse me, bitch? How many times?
Twice. I think it was
Twice in 3 years. So here's how it went, right? His past 2 fights. One was October 23rd, 2021 against Marvin Vittori, and he lost. And guess what, guys? That fight had to be at light heavyweight because he just did not try to make weight. He missed that shit. He's so lucky Vittori said, light heavyweight it is then. He is so lucky.
And then proceeded to kick his ass.
And then proceeded to kick his ass. But, anyway, then he doesn't fight until August of 2022, after October of 2021. 10 months?
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me?
Did he make weight this time?
He did make weight, and he showed up.
So he went on that low-fat secret juice.
But you know what? What's crazy? He beat Luke Rockhold. Guys, Luke Rockhold, for those of y'all that don't know, former middleweight champion. He was an absolute menace in his prime. By the time Costa got to him, Rockhold hadn't fought in 3 years, and he was old as fuck. Like, no hate on Luke Rockhold whatsoever. Dude's one of the greatest to do it. I love the guy. Absolutely love him. Him, everybody over at AKA, DC, Cain Velasquez, Khabib, all of them came from the same gym, right? So, he hadn't fought in 3 years to this point. He hadn't fought since 2019, and he fought in 2022 against Paulo Costa, and got destroyed. Showed a lot of heart, but I will say, guys, what I remember most about that fight isn't Paulo Costa beating the shit out of Luke Rockhold. It was Luke Rockhold getting on top of him at the end of the fight and rubbing his blood all over his face. If I'm honest, that's what I remember the most. So, I mean, what that does to Costa's entire momentum, I don't know. When the old guy that should have been retired 3 years ago goes in there and does that to you, even though you beat his ass the whole fight, I think I'm going to like Luke Rockhold a lot more after that. And then he retired after that. And Paulo Costa hasn't fought since. He was supposed to fight Robert Whittaker last year on the Perth, Australia card when Volk went against Islam the first time.
Great fight.
Great fight. One of the best fights you'll ever watch.
Just disregard that second one. Short notice. It's just
short notice.
It's not good looks. Go back to that first one.
That first fight, epic. Like, it was truly a super fight. It was something that you don't get a whole lot. 2 guys at the top of their game, duking it out in the fucking octagon.
Watch it, and you're gonna notice that you're not gonna see a lot of fights live up to what that one did. And keep in mind, that is 2 different weight classes going at it.
They're the champion of each class.
And they're both monsters.
Yeah. But anyway, he was supposed to fight on that card with Volk. And then Paulo Costa pulled out of it due to contract disputes. And then he disputed with the UFC for an entire year through 2023, almost dead ass left the company. And then eventually they reached something, and then he was able to fight now. And we got Robert Whittaker and Paulo Costa. But like I said, guys, this fight was supposed to happen before. I still don't think it's happening. Despite Paulo Costa making weight this morning, I'm not going to believe that this fight's happening until they walk out. When they walk out, then this fight's happening. So, yeah.
Thanks for that, Isaac.
So, anyway, guys. Paulo Costa, though. Dude is a great striker. Absolute brawler mentality. And he's going up against a well-rounded fighter in Robert Whittaker. I mean, it only takes one shot, obviously. And Paulo Costa's got that type of one-shot knockout type of power. He really, really does. But here's the thing, y'all. I think Robert Whittaker is way too complete for Paulo Costa. Like, is he going to beat him in the striking department? He just might. I'm not even going to lie. But here's the thing that Robert Whittaker can do that Paulo Costa's not great at. Wrestle. And Is Robert Whitaker's wrestling his greatest attribute? No. His boxing is. But he's called Bobby Knuckles for a reason. But he's such a well-rounded fighter, and he really doesn't have any weaknesses. He can do everything, and like he's one of the most complete fighters next to Dracus Duplessis, honestly.
He can do everything but beat Adesanya, right?
But beat Adesanya, but
barring that.
he can do everything but Israel. He can beat everybody but Israel Adesanya. I don't know what it is. Some people just got your number, and Israel Adesanya, I think, just had Robert Whitaker's number.
Hey, Volk has Holloway's number.
And Volk has Holloway's number. I mean, shit. It's just how it is. But I think Robert Whitaker's way too complete for Paulo Costa, and if he starts losing on the feet, he'll go to the clinch. He'll do some damage in the clinch. He'll take him down if he has to. He can ground and pound, and he can submit you. Dude's got good jiu-jitsu, too. I think he's purple or brown belt. I think brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so up there as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned. Good wrestling. It's good clinch work, good clinch striking, good Muay Thai. Paulo Costa's really just a kickboxer at the end of the day. That tries to find that one shot that puts your lights out, which he can totally do. And yes, everybody's got that puncher's chance, but Robert Whitaker's way too complete. So give me Robert Whitaker by a round 3 finish, whether it be submission or knockout.
I'm gonna go ahead. I agree with you on all those points. Whitaker, I got for this. And I'm gonna say round 2. I'm gonna say he KOs him.
You're gonna say he knocks out Paulo Costa? Yep. Round 2. So that was a pretty lengthy co-main event description, but that's why we left these two at the very end. Didn't make the mistake of starting off with them because then we just neglect the rest of the fight card.
We're also still pretty unsure on if Costa's gonna show up. So
exactly. Kudos to that. Gotta at least acknowledge the fact that we don't know if Paulo Costa's even gonna fucking make it to Anaheim.
He might make it.
He might. He made weight this morning. He's in the right direction, but I still don't think this fight's happening. But if it does, Robert Whitaker's too complete for Paulo Costa. And I got Robert Whitaker all day. I think he's going to find the finish. It's going to take him a while. I think it's going to be a good fight, but he'll ultimately find the weakness, and he will exploit it, whether it be ground and pound TKO or submission. Give me Robert Whitaker all day. And I hope Bobby Knuckles regains his title at some point. I'd love to see him win that belt back at least once before he retires. Because you got to feel for the guy, man. Like, he just fucking beats everybody except Israel. Like, it's the same with Holloway. But with Holloway, I don't have to wish for him to get the belt again because Holloway is such a big name. He can just go anywhere he wants, and I'm going to be excited. Doesn't matter if he's fighting Volk for a 4th time where I know he's just going to get destroyed, or if he's fighting Justin Gaethje for the BMF belt, which he is doing, if you didn't know. But it doesn't matter. I'm always going to be excited for Max Holloway. But now, guys, enough about that shit. That's some UFC 300 garbage. We ain't doing that until April. We don't even have a main event for that shit yet. So.
No, we don't.
What? It's definitely not going to involve McGregor in anything. No. Everybody's saying, no, it's not going to be McGregor. It has been.
He hasn't been in UFC in years.
What are we talking about, man? It's going to be Conor McGregor, more than likely. I've been saying it jokingly. I'm just going to say it while we're on the broadcast now. Guys, main event for UFC 300. Since I'm so fucking unsure about this entire main event scene and how this is going to play out, I'm just going to go ahead and fucking say it. Conor McGregor versus Khabib 2. That's our main event for UFC 300. 100%. Don't know what you're talking about. 100% it's going to be them two. Got a whole ad campaign. Should I leak my ad campaign, Anthony?
No, why not?
All right, guys. So what if this, guys? So before we get into the main event, I want to do this. What if we're watching the fights tomorrow night, right? We're watching. We're excited. It's probably like the start of the main card or at the end of the prelims or right before the main event. We'll never know. But I'm going to say sometime during the main card, we're just chilling. Commercial break comes. We get a teaser trailer for UFC 300. Going to be promoting the Holloway and Gaethje fight on the card. Going to be promoting Bo Nickel and his fight on that card. Every other fight that's been confirmed. Weili Zhang and Yan Janan. Their fight happening. We're going to butter up this whole card, right? And then as it's happening, right, we're fading to black. It looks like the trailer's over. We fade now, and it says UFC 300. But then we start to see a small hyphen appear in between 30 and 0. And then we put a question mark. And then we hear McGregor's maniacal laugh in the background. And then Dana White hops on the post-fight press conference and says, well, you guys saw it. You know what it is. And then that's our main event. Is that going to happen? No. No.
We will say,
No.
hypothetically, in this situation, that it does
No.
happen.
But if it does,
that
and
is the biggest pay-per-view numbers that UFC will probably see.
ever, ever, that might actually beat the record for most pay-per-views sold for an event. That might actually beat Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao. Honestly, because that's the highest grossing pay-per-view of all time as far as sporting events is concerned. Is McGregor, not McGregor. McGregor Mayweather's up there, but I meant Pacquiao and Mayweather is the most sold pay-per-view card ever across any sport.
Until Greggy and Khabib too.
Exactly. Is this gonna happen, guys? No. What? No. But
alternate universe.
but no. But like, if it does, and I just happen to say that shit on here, and that's exactly as it plays out, I promise I have no in. Dana White, do not shoot me.
Yeah, they won't even sponsor us yet.
Like,
but we'll get there.
I have no in. This is just me. I'm a college kid on a podcast trying to make a fucking living off of this shit, and I'm just saying some talking out of my ass here. But anyway, we got a main event that I got to talk about now. We got to talk about, not just me. Alexander, the Great Volkanovski, featherweight champion of the world, 145 pounds, versus Ilya El Matador Topuria. Guys, if you want a battle of the best in a division, this is it. 100%. This is a legit number one contender, guy that's been fucking everybody up against champion that's been running shit for years. Finally meeting. Now at featherweight, you've always struggled creating that kind of a dynamic because Volk is that MFing good, right? No matter who Volk went against, he makes him look silly, right? He dominates every single fight. Korean Zombie killed him. Brian Ortega killed him, even though he nearly got killed in that fight.
Ortega is very.
Ortega came close. Max Holloway got him 3 times. Yair Rodriguez ended that hype train. Guys, the only losses that Volk has taken have been at lightweight against Islam Makhachev. Scary Russian motherfucker. Scary guy, number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now, according to the UFC pound-for-pound rankings. And he just lost twice to him. And one of them, it was really fucking close.
The one we acknowledge.
The one we acknowledge was really fucking close. Their first fight. The second fight, well, a little bit different. 12 days notice.
Short notice. It was different weight classes.
12 days notice. Fucking hops in there. 3 minutes go by in round 1, and Volk took a shin to the dome and on his ass. That was Volk's last fight. Not in his division. No. Attempting to go for Islam.
In his division, unstoppable.
In his division, though,
it's just
like line him up, take him down. That's how it is. Never has there really been a dynamic of the absolutely threatening number 1 contender against the champ that's been running shit. It's been hard to create that dynamic. They tried to do it with Max Holloway, but Max got fucked on in their third fight. All right, and I unfortunately just don't think Max beats Volk right now. But I could be wrong. I love Max Holloway. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite fighters. But this one, like, I actually kind of scared for Volkanovski, if I'm honest, because I mean, Ilya is fucking scary. Okay, that I literally put that in the notes as the headlining.
It's the first one.
It's the first note, and it says Ilya is fucking scary because Ilya is fucking scary. This Spanish motherfucker. This Matador motherfucker, it almost has no holes in his game. Legit, I almost see nothing wrong. He is a phenomenal boxer. His punches are fast. They got power. He keeps a nice high, tight guard. His chin's tucked. You watch him fight, he knows what he's doing when he's in there. And he's got fantastic jiu-jitsu. Matter of fact, that's how he's got most of his wins are by submission. But don't get me wrong, this dude can box too. and he can definitely kick your legs out as well. I saw Josh Emmett's calf buckle when he faced him. This dude's fantastic jiu-jitsu, phenomenal boxer, and he has made every single one of his opponents drink their own blood in their fights. Like legit, left them in a crimson mask. Ask Josh Emmett, ask Bryce Mitchell. Those two guys were his last two wins. He made them taste their own blood.
I think Volk would be fine with that, honestly.
Honestly, it just seems like it would make him go faster.
Just everyday Volk stuff, you know.
He makes them drink their own blood. And let's not forget to mention here, guys. Ilya Topuria couldn't be fighting Volk at a better time. He's facing a vulnerable Volk right now, in a way. You know what I mean? Like, he just got knocked out back in October. That was only 4 months ago, guys. Like, only 4 months ago, he got knocked the fuck out. And it wasn't a fist to the face that just knocked him out clean. Nah, it was a shin to the dome. Like, that's a pretty bad strike to just eat. You know? Head kicks, a lot more damage than a punch. Your shin's a much stronger bone. It's like a baseball bat. But, he's facing a vulnerable Volkanovski. Like, if there's any better time for the stars to align for Ilya to be facing Volk, it's right now. And it's happening for him. And, his last two fights, like I said, guys, he just diffed on both Josh Emmett and fucking Bryce Mitchell. He changed Josh Emmett's face, absolutely swelled up on his right eye. His whole face was cut up and bruised. He was bleeding into his mouth and from his nose, from his freaking eyebrow. It was
All orifices are bleeding.
all orifices on my face are bleeding. And I mean, Josh Emmett's tough as nails. He refused to get put away. Came very close to getting finished multiple times, but Josh Emmett, tough as nails, guys. He kept fighting until the very fucking end. And even in the 5th round, when he's all bloodied, he's all bruised, and pretty much knows he's going to lose this fight, he still put the pressure on Ilya and landed some good shots on him. Like, yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due for Josh Emmett. But Ilya just changed Josh Emmett's face, and Josh Emmett's a great fighter, guys. He's a tremendous fighter. His face just doesn't get fucked up like that every single time he's out there. No, it takes a special kind of fucking crazy motherfucker to do that. And that crazy motherfucker was Ilya Topuria. And then Bryce Mitchell was an undefeated prospect when he went against... It was undefeated versus undefeated. Ilya Topuria, Bryce Mitchell. It was a big fight. I remember it being hyped up like hella. And what did fucking Ilya Topuria do to the grappler and Bryce Mitchell? Submitted him. Took away that 0. Gave him his first 1. I gotta say, things haven't been the same for Bryce Mitchell since then. I mean, he went and he beat Dan Ige, but he beat Dan Ige. I mean, great fighter, but honestly a gatekeeper of a division. Alright, and then he got flatlined by Josh Emmett just recently, who is also considered to be a journeyman of the division. So, Bryce Mitchell, ever since that Topuria fight, 50-50 for him lately. We love Bryce Mitchell here at the Front Row Access Podcast, though.
Wait, does that mean Topuria went up or down, or did Mitchell go up or down?
What do you mean?
Are they in the same division still?
Oh, yeah, they're both 145s.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just, Ilya's so damn big, it looks like he should be at lightweight. He's not. He's a featherweight. Yeah, that's another big thing. He's huge from 145. I mean, so is Volk, but Volk's...
Is he taller than Volk?
That's not hard to do, man. I'm taller than Volk. I'm 5'7". I got an inch on him.
You got this.
I got an inch on him.
You go about a triangle choke.
Nah. You see, the thing is, I can't put him in a triangle choke because he's got no neck. I mean, the ultimate submission defense, especially for chokes, is simply having no neck. I mean, that's exactly what happened with Brian Ortega. I mean, nobody survives a Brian Ortega guillotine, let alone Brian Ortega's signature move of triangle choke. Nobody survives that. No one, except for Volk. And the reason why Volk did it, head's too damn big, and he's got no neck.
The no neck strap.
Yep, that's the ultimate submission defense. And that's how he's able to slip out of that shit. So, I mean, Ilya's 14-0, guys. And he's only, in his 14 fights, 6 of them were in the UFC. 6-0 in UFC, 14-0 in total. And he's only been to decision once. And it was against Josh Emmett, who just so happens to be the one of the toughest sons of bitches in the featherweight division right now. So that's Ilia Topuria, guys. This guy is undefeated. This guy's 30, 31 years old. He's young. He's hungry. He wants it. And yeah, it's looking pretty good for him right now. I mean, but here's the thing, guys. You gotta remember who Ilya's going against. Yes, Ilya's dangerous as fuck. Yes, he's extremely talented. Yes, he's a great martial artist and championship caliber. But Volk's got that dog in him, man. It doesn't matter how many odds are stacked against him. He was a plus 300 underdog, plus 360 underdog even, against Islam Makhachev, and he nearly beat him in their first fight. Their second fight, obviously, not so much.
Not the same story.
Not the same story, but their first fight, he was a plus 360 underdog, which is a pretty sizable underdog.
Especially when you're the champion of Volk standards.
Exactly. And Volk, like, would have won that fight if he didn't get held down all around 4. It comes down to round 4. Like, if Volk didn't get taken down and held for round 4, like, when Islam just backpacked him that whole round, Volk would have won that fight. He won 3 and 5 comfortably. 1 and 2. And 2's a bit of a toss-up, but he could give it. I gave it to Islam. 2's a toss-up. 3 was clearly Volk. 4 was Volk until he got taken down, and then 5 was Volk all day. So I mean, Volk's always got that dog in him. It don't matter if he's 28 or 35, which he's 35 right now. Just celebrated his birthday back in October, and no, September. And I mean, yeah, his last fight was versus Islam Makhachev, and he lost by a head kick to a guy that you really shouldn't be taking on short notice.
11 days going up weight class.
It's not quite it, G. The champion that's been holding down that division for almost 2 years now. Good on Islam. I just wish you'd fight more, man. But
How many fights has it been? What, 3?
ever since he won the belt?
Yeah.
Ever since he won the belt, he won against Charles Oliveira. Then he had his first title defense against Volkanovski. Then had his second title defense against Volkanovski. So he beat Oliveira and then went to and then beat Volk twice.
So he hasn't defended in this division?
Nope.
God damn it.
Yup. Meanwhile, you have Justin Gaethje waiting in the wing there. I mean, he's got a fight booked now, but before that fight got booked, he just knocked out permanent #1 contender in Dustin Poirier. And you also got Charles Oliveira wanting that rematch because he forgot to fucking wake up that day. You have fucking Dustin Poirier himself in there, Michael Chandler, and Beneil Dariush at the time, not so much anymore ever since the whole Sarukian incident. But nah, he's just gonna hold up a whole division, go and fight a featherweight. Like, he was supposed to fight Charles Oliveira, and then Charles round 5 of sparring, in his last day of fight camp, and got fucking lacerated over his eyebrow. Like, damn, bro. And now he doesn't even get a shot at Islam now because now he's fighting Arman Sarukian. And I just saw the early betting odds for that. Charles is the underdog.
Wow.
Yep. And you can't give him Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier also has a fight booked against number 12 in Benoit Saint-Denis. Once again, Dustin Poirier is the underdog. So, I mean,
Wow.
and Michael Chandler is just whining for his Conor McGregor fight. I love you, Michael Chandler. I really don't want to be mean to you. But you thirsty, my boy. Every single time Conor McGregor tweets, you're on his ass. Like, I love you, Michael Chandler. I fucking love you. But damn, bro, you thirsty, bro.
Listen, the guy agreed to do. Was it Ultimate Fighter?
Ultimate Fighter with
He
you.
went through all of Ultimate Fighter. He wants his meal ticket.
And like, damn.
Give him his meal ticket, man.
He's thirsty as fuck, bro. It's like DC said on DC and RC. It's like you're following that one hot girl on Instagram, and like as soon as she posts to her story, like 19 seconds ago, you heart her story. Like that is Michael Chandler with Conor McGregor right now. I fucking love you, Michael Chandler. I really do. I know I'm like giving you a lot of shit right now, but I fucking love you. But yeah, Michael Chandler just chilling there. And he's waiting for Conor. He's like,
Connor.
When am I gonna get Connor? When am I gonna do it? When am I gonna get it? He
Like,
says,
when's he coming?
oh,
When's he
when's he
coming?
coming? When's he coming? And I'm like, you thirsty, bro? Like, bro, you need some Mountain Dew. You're thirsty, bro. Here, take this. But shit, guys. That's Volkanovski, and let's be honest. I mean, it's true. He's been unstoppable pretty much his whole reign. Mind you, guys, Alexander Volkanovski won the featherweight title in December of 2019. Guys, I was still in high school. I was a sophomore. That was before this whole COVID thing happened. He's been champion since then. He is the only still standing champion since the end of 2021 and 2019 for that matter. He's the only one that has stayed put. And he's looked good in all of his title defenses. Doesn't matter who you put him up against. Put him against Max Holloway, beats him. Put him against Brian Ortega, beat him. Put him against Korean Zombie, beat him. Put him against Max Holloway again, absolutely destroys him. Put him against Yair Rodriguez, fucks him. You know, like
all these people are very scary, by the way.
Oh yeah,
everyone who just
everybody I just named, scary as fuck. Brian Ortega, I always say it, second best jiu-jitsu in UFC, next to Charles Oliveira. Beat him. Max Holloway, the only guy that every other 145er can't beat. Max Holloway, the only guy he beats everybody except for Volk. Korean Zombie, game as hell. Always goes at you. Don't matter how hard he gets hit. Don't matter how many times you knock him down. Doesn't matter how long you squeeze on his neck, apparently. He's just going to keep on going.
He mastered the art of not breathing.
I swear, dude breathes out of his fucking earlobes. Like, or his fucking asshole. I don't know. But Yair Rodriguez, probably some of the most high-volume kickers in the UFC right now, next to Edson Barboza. Like, bro is Taekwondo master and, like, beats everybody.
How is Barboza doing?
Barboza's doing pretty good. I think he's got a fight coming up soon. I'd have to check. I'd have to double check. I'm not sure, though. But, all these guys that I listed, absolute killers.
Like, if it's between those guys and,
Josh Emmett, for that matter. Like, if it's between, like, that guy and Josh Emmett, or that guy and Calvin Kattar.
Like, if it's put me in the cage with that guy or the other direction, it's the other direction.
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna go.
And Volk's look good in every single one of his title defenses. Don't matter. The only time I ever saw him struggle was against Holloway in their second fight. And even then, it was still a decisive victory. For, a little bit of a toss-up at the end. But ultimately, I think Volk got it done. So, but he is, I mean, here's the thing, guys. He is getting a little bit older. He's 35. I mean, yeah, he's not old. He's not like 40 and still kicking it, i.e. Stephen Thompson. I love Stephen Thompson. He's like one of my favorite fighters ever. Like top 5 level fighter. I love Stephen Thompson. Big fan.
Hey, Glover stuck around until 42, right?
Glover won a title at 42. But he's 35 years old. So yeah, he's no spring chicken. He's no young buck anymore. But he's experienced enough now that he knows what he's doing. And he's not quite on a decline yet. Like, is it coming soon? Yeah, we all know. Everybody's got a date. Everybody's got a date. It could be this Saturday. But you never know. Everybody's got a date. But to me, I think Volk's still got it in him. And there's this interesting statistic. I was reading around on ESPN earlier today. Brett Okamoto wrote a pretty intriguing article. And it said people in title fights, like fighters that have fought in title fights, in welterweight and below, so 170 below, have a combined record of 2-23 in title fights. Only 2 times has the guy that's over the age of 35 won in that same range of time. Now, is that a pretty out there statistic? Hell yeah, but it's definitely something to consider. I did my own little research into it because I wasn't going to take that shit at face value. And it's kind of true. Gotta look at Colby Covington, 35 years old. Went up against a 31-year-old champion, lost. Gotta think of even Volkanovski himself. Went against a 30-year-old champion in Islam Makhachev, lost. And you gotta think of, yeah. And I'm like, there's a Davison Figueiredo against Brandon Moreno. Like, once again, he's 30. Davison Figueiredo, 35 years old. Brandon Moreno, 30. Won that fight. is Brandon Moreno. Like, it's true. It's a bit of a trend. And a recent trend at that. All of those fights that I just listed there are recent. And, yeah. So it's an intriguing statistic. Is it out there? Hell yeah. But is it something to consider? Mm-hmm.
Do you know who the two winners were?
I did not get that far. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was gonna say, the thing is with this, and especially because we're talking about Volk right now, is the way that he ran through and beat all those dangerous guys we were just talking about. That's what put the target on his back. That was Islam Makhachev, and so far the only one to rattle him, but besides Holloway's second and Ortega when he really had that shit in there, was fucking Makhachev, weight division high and whatnot. And the reason Makhachev went after him was because he wanted that pound for pound, right?
Yep.
That's why that whole, I'm gonna say it's a feud now because he went back at him. That's why that whole
Yeah.
feud happened. And um, he's undefeated in his division, right?
Who, Volk?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's never lost a featherweight.
So you got 14 and 0, 6 and 0 in UFC versus a defending champion in this fight.
And also, what I want to add on to that is Volk has more experience, speed, and power than anybody that I've seen Ilya go against. That's a point that I really wanted to get across here. Like, anybody that Ilya has gone against, Volk has more experience, speed, and power.
I was gonna say Ilya didn't have to go through the Holloway gate.
He didn't have to go through the Holloway gate.
Holloway was busy taking care of business.
Matter of fact, he didn't even have to go through Yair Rodriguez. He didn't even have to go through Brian Ortega. Like,
none of the scary guys.
yeah, the others, he didn't have to go through any of them. I mean, Brian Ortega's been out with a shoulder injury again, unfortunately.
Oh, isn't Ortega getting up there?
In age, yeah. He's about, I think he's a year younger than Volk, so he's 34.
Hella experience.
But yeah, but he went against none of those scary guys that we mentioned. He went against Josh Emmett, who just knocked out Bryce Mitchell, but like
almost sent him to Jesus.
Almost sent him to Jesus. I'm pretty sure Bryce Mitchell was at the pearly gates real quick, and then God was like, "Hey, whoa, what the fuck are you doing here?"
You're supposed to be fight at short notice. Yeah, you're going.
Shit, I forgot I wrote that in my notes. Yeah, you got to go back there, unfortunately. But I'll see you again in like 50 years.
A couple decades.
I'll see you again in a couple decades, and send him back down here. But I gotta look at the two biggest high-profile guys that Ilya Topuria has gone against. That's Bryce Mitchell and Josh Emmett. When you think of Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell, do you think of Volk? No. No, you don't. I mean, there's levels to this game. Both Bryce Mitchell and Josh Emmett are tremendous fighters. I love watching them. But here's the thing. They're not a Volkanovski. They're not a Brian Ortega, I'd even say. They're not a Yair Rodriguez. They're not a Max Holloway. They're just not at that level. If you put any of those guys against either one of those two, you put Brian Ortega against Josh Emmett, give me Ortega. You put Max Holloway against Bryce Mitchell, give me Max Holloway. Like, you put Yair Rodriguez against Josh Emmett, which did happen, and he submitted the grappler. Like, Yair Rodriguez submitted the grappler. Like,
I was gonna say this. Do you think? I'm asking you guys, audience too. Do you think Topuria is gonna make Islam seem weak or like he's kind of fading in and out there?
I don't see that either. Like I said, Ilya's scary, and he's a very complete fighter. Do not get me wrong. I'm as scared for Volkanovski as I've ever been in the past right now. Because obviously here on the Front Row Access podcast, we love Volkanovski. I'm pretty sure you've established that if you've been watching us long enough. Volkanovski, Dustin Poirier, those are the guys that we usually go after all the time. Israel Adesanya, not, you know.
And in case you weren't sure, go back and watch our coverage of Volk's fight.
Yeah, exactly. You'll see how much we were actually believing that he could beat Islam on 12 days' notice. Even though I think we were just feeding into our own delusion.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of glossed over it too. We said 12 days notice. I mean, it'll be tough, but we thought
he'd already been training.
Like, yeah, he saying shit one night that he wanted that badly.
But nah, he came in off the couch, bro. Like, he came in off that couch after having a kid.
Volk was just like, Oh shit, he needs to fight. Hey guys, yeah, I'll come
Oh, yeah, I'll come in. I'll get called into work.
in.
But yeah. So I gotta say, like, there is a skill difference between Volkanovski and the people that Ilya has faced. But Ilya's skills do speak for themselves. Like Ilya's, like if you watch any of Ilya's fights, even against the nobodies that he was fighting in his early, I don't want to say nobodies because they're all trained their asses off, but like the lesser known guys that he's fought, you got you see that this guy's legit. Like he's fucking good. You watch those two fights with Bryce Mitchell and Josh Emmett, especially the Josh Emmett one. Like obliterated him. Like his face went through a blender, type deal. And but here's the thing, Ilya. Another thing that I think Volk's got is this whole endurance and cardio thing. You know how many times Volk has gone to decision in hard fights? Pretty much all his title defenses. If I'm honest, the only time he ever finished somebody was, well, Yair Rodriguez in round 3, but he had something to prove there after he coming off a loss to Islam. And then uh, Korean Zombie in round 4 after Korean Zombie turned into a human punching bag. Uh, and didn't even go down, by the way, after Volk hit him with this crazy hard right hand. It was just a mad concussive blow to the point that Herb Dean was like, nope, nope, that's it. I'm done. I cannot see this guy take more damage than he already has. And
Zombie was trying to prove how much like a zombie he is.
I don't think it really needs to prove that. The name speaks for itself. Love Korean Zombie, but like Ilya is only going 5 rounds once, and he significantly slowed down against Josh Emmett, and that's something that I think Volk will have an advantage with. And Volk is one of the most well-conditioned fighters out there right now. He's got crazy cardio. I mean, I know we love to glaze up on Max Holloway and Colby Covington for their third lung that they possess, because they do. But well, maybe not Colby. I mean,
I was
that
gonna say,
last
I think
fight.
he might have donated it.
Yeah, I think Colby donated his third lung to somebody in need. Because in that last fight, man, he looked like absolute fucking dog shit. After I actually made him out to be a legit contender on here. Oh,
By the way, Kobe, you should have shown up.
what the fuck, Colby? I was rooting for you, man.
We
But
really were.
I really was. But you know, we were wrong yet again. So
God damn it, Kobe.
anyway, guys, so that's something that I think Volk will have an advantage in is the conditioning side of things. Volk's got crazy cardio. Y'all don't talk about it as much as you should. But you gotta look back at all of Volk's fights that he's had, all of his title defenses. Most of them have gone all 5 rounds, and he did not look tired at all. Even in the first fight against Islam. That 5th round, he looked like he could have gone 5 more.
Oh yeah, we
Like,
said that if he had gotten one more round in there, which he could have done, he would have taken that.
dude, like, he looked like he could have gone 5 more. Islam couldn't stand. Like, I mean, but you know, and also another thing that I want to mention, not that it really means anything as far as the fight is concerned, but featherweight is really it's one of those elite divisions because it's only really had 5 champs in the past like 15 years, and Volk being one of them. So all of these guys that win the titles win them soundly, and they keep them for a long time. Because like here's how the lineage goes, guys. It's Aldo, decade-long reign, basically, 8 years if you include his WEC wins when WEC got bought by UFC. Then you had about 8-year reign as UFC featherweight champion, and then of course McGregor took him 13 seconds for this angry leprechaun that really likes whiskey to come in and end a fucking decade-long reign. Just Jesus, and then held up the division for a year. Went to go box Mayweather, make a quick buck. Then Aldo won the vacant title, to which Max Holloway beat Aldo to get the title. And then he held that shit for a while until a little tiny Aussie tank rolled in and Alexander Volkanovski and took it all away from him.
Took his number down.
Took his number down and kept it. So,
Pulls out that back pocket and time it's on. Oh yeah, that.
yep, that's the safe number. That's how we're gonna crack this guy. Anyway, so as far as how I think this fight is gonna be, how this fight's gonna go, it's gonna be close as shit. This is gonna be a close fight. I honestly see it going the distance. I do. I legit do. I think these are two of the best right now. And if there is going to be a finish, I'm going to say that it's going to be Volk that does it in the 5th round by a TKO.
Um, I'm not shocked that you gave this to Volk. I was surprised you with the length of this. So I'm gonna say Ilya is gonna be explosive right at the start
Extremely.
because he knows he's got to get it done, and his best shot to get it done is quick. Now we're not saying that Ilya can't do this. We are not saying that because Ilya
Absolutely
has
not.
shown that he is very, very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Volk is going to be able to ward off and defend, and that Volk will put it away. You'll see Ilya get exhausted. That will be part of the plan. By the end of round 3, and he'll probably put him away round 4.
Yeah, I'm going away in round 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's going all 5, and then it's going to be a late finish by a TKO from Alexander Volkanovski. So there you go. There you go, guys. That's all our predictions down the line for this.
298.
That's UFC 298. Alexander Volkanovski. We're both taking Volk for this one. We still believe in him, but trust me, this is about as anxious as we've ever been for Alexander Volkanovski ever.
Watch those
So
2 defenses from the 35 Volk.
yeah, so like, uh, you heard it here. We both got Alexander Volkanovski putting it away rather late in the fight. So that's the prediction for the main event. Co-main event, we both got Robert Whitaker.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking Ian Gary. I'm taking Marab. Anthony's taking Henry Cejudo, and
I
we're
really think he's gonna finally be unconstipated.
finally take a shit.
But yes.
And then we both taken Roman Kopylov for the opening match. And there's a featured prelim that I'm gonna go over now before we close it out here. It's a pretty good one, but it's one that I don't think needs much introduction because you guys should know these women by now and how cool they really are. It's Amanda Lemos, former title challenger, who just got absolutely bitched on.
Yeah, I was gonna say they might not know her as well if they just watched that last one.
So Amanda Lemos is fighting Mackenzie Dern in the featured prelim. That's a pretty good featured prelim right there. Good names on that one. Amanda Lemos in her last fight fought for the UFC strawweight title and got absolutely bitched on by Weili Zhang because she's Weili Zhang. And Mackenzie Dern is coming off of a knockout loss to Jessica Andrade. So both of them are coming off of pretty decisive losses. So both of them are going to have something to prove. Mackenzie Dern is a tremendous grappler. Very good wrestler. Very good in the clinch. Great jiu-jitsu. Can't strike for shit, though. Her striking is not as good as Lemos's. And Lemos is very fast. She's very explosive, very powerful for 115, which is fucking crazy. And high volume striker, definitely. And does have some jiu-jitsu, don't get me wrong. But ultimately, I think the person that has more to prove here after she got absolutely bitched on is Amanda Lemos. I love Mackenzie Dern with all my heart. I want her to win this fight, but I don't think she's gonna. I'm taking Lemos probably by a KO in the first or second round.
I'm gonna say that Lemos is shaken up from her loss, and I'm gonna say that Dern's gonna get this done.
Are you gonna call a submission?
Yeah, I'll say round 3 though.
I mean, I'm gonna be rooting for Mackenzie Dern. I just don't think she's gonna win because she looked like garbage in her fight against Andrade. But I mean,
Did
Lemos.
she look like more garbage than
Lemos, that's true.
'Cause
But then
they're
again,
dealing with the critiques from like their training camp and the public on their last match. Because both the people they lost to are fucking
I was just
phenomenal.
about to say, I mean, Weili Zhang is Weili Zhang. She does
Yeah.
that to just about anybody unless your name's Rose Namajunas.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And not to sleep on the other one either, because I've seen both of them, and they both are
extremely good.
very good at what they do.
Mm-hmm. But, yep, I think, just, I think Lemos is going to want something to prove. So she's going to go out there, probably get Dern out of there as quick as she can. But I'm going to be rooting for Dern. But that's my prediction. Anthony, you're actually taking Dern. So we'll go 50-50 on this one. You heard that for the featured prelim. I got Lemos. He's got Dern. But I think we're both rooting for Dern here. So, anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'm done. Get out of here.